Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the Mayor's talk show on the heartbeat of Rialto. This evening, we're talking with businesses in Rialto because while we have our community and our family, and they are definitely part of our heartbeat of Rialto, the business community is also part of our economic heartbeat of Rialto. Without them, we cannot really decide on our own destiny. So this evening, I have with me a gentleman who is one of our major companies here, and this is Mr. Stacy Augustine with Biscomerica. Stacy, welcome. Thanks for agreeing to be part of the Mayor's talk show on business in Rialto.
Thank you for having me, Deborah.
Well, you've been here a while, and I'd like you to just maybe share with us a little bit about Biscomerica and the business and how it was started.
Okay, well, Deborah, Biscomerica started here in the city of Rialto in 1980. So we've been in the city for approximately 33 years. And at one time in our tenure here in the city, we were the #1 employer for the city of Rialto. Right. And that was before larger employers like Target, Staples moved into the area. Then we, of course, lost our #1 ranking. But as of now, Biscomerica houses probably 350 employees, which is all-time high for us.
Okay.
Having started in 1980, it was founded by our CEO, and our CEO's name is Nadi Sultan. And he started the company here in Rialto in 1980. And he got a little assistance along the way from his father-in-law. His father-in-law was also in the baking industry when he married the daughter. And the father helped him establish Biscomerica and got it up and running off the ground. And so it's been almost 33 years.
33 years.
33
okay.
years.
Basically a major food manufacturer.
Well, what we manufacture is cookies and confectionery chocolate candy. So it's a kind of a twofold of a hybrid of a plant. We do two different things under the same roof. We produce approximately 150,000 pounds every 24 hours, which estimates to about 750,000 pounds a week, and that's just in cookies. We also produce probably 28,000 pounds of chocolate candy every 24 hours, which runs about 150,000 pounds a week. We're a 5-day, 24-hour-a-day, operation. And so we have major brands such as our national brand is the Knott's Berry Farm shortbread cookie. And then we have several additional labels that we produce cookie products under.
Right.
We also co-manufacture at Biscomerica Corporation, and our largest co-manufacturer is the Kellogg Corporation. So we're partnered with the Kellogg Corporation. We have approximately 12 different SKUs of products that we make for the Kellogg Corporation. And then on the candy side, our partner in the candy side is the Hershey Corporation.
Oh,
so we produce a lot of the Mauna Loa nuts and the Mauna Loa chocolates and things of that nature right here in Rialto.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
And when you speak about the Kellogg, what is it? Can you mention what is the probably #1 known brand that we all see on the shelf?
Absolutely. About 3 to 4 years ago, the Kellogg Corporation purchased Mother's Cookies. And everyone knows about the iced animal cookie. It's a little animal cookie with the little pink frosting and the white frosting with the little sprinkles. Well, we launched that product here in March of last year, 2012, for the Kellogg Corporation. And then the other line of cookies that we run for the Kellogg Corporation is the Kashi brand. We have Kashi cookies, all natural cookies, and then we also have new breakfast bars by the Kellogg Corporation and Kashi, which is banana chocolate chip, a berry, and also an apple cobbler bar. So the line is growing. Kellogg's and us has partnered probably for the last 15 years. And Kellogg's has about 150 co-manufacturers throughout the nation, meaning throughout the United States of America, that makes different types of products for them. And they rank us yearly. And for the first time in the history of our relationship, Biscomerica was the #1 rated co-manufacturer for the Kellogg Corporation in 2012.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
It's something that is not widely known. So thank you for sharing that, because I think people need to know that here in Rialto, we definitely have some #1 businesses, top in what they're doing in their enterprise. But Stacy, before we go a little further, I would like to, we're a family-oriented community.
Absolutely.
And besides being business friendly, we like to think of, but I'd like you to share with us or tell us a little bit about your family and your family background.
Absolutely. Well, actually, I have two families, one at home and one at work. Biscomerica is a family-orientated company. It's
That's right.
family-owned, and we enjoy an atmosphere of comfort and ease. There's no pressure or restrictions there, and we like things to run relatively smooth without much controversy. Now at home, I have a wonderful wife I've been married to for the last 8 years,
Yes.
and 2 children. One's named Nemo and one's named Betty. Nemo is a Chihuahua Terrier male,
Okay.
and Betty is a toy poodle.
Okay.
Then I have 3 wonderful children from a previous marriage, Brittany, Stacy, and Emmanuel Augustine.
I've had the pleasure of meeting your wife, and I haven't met Nemo yet, I don't think, but I've had the pleasure of meeting your wife and some of your family members. So I really appreciate you sharing that with us. You know, we know that business along the way has always had their struggles and things. But can you tell us a little bit? You've told us about how they got into the business and how it started with Nadia. And by the way, I've had the pleasure of meeting him, and I really appreciate that he has continued to stay here in Rialto. But tell me a little bit of what that you started in the business, and how did you come into the food manufacturing industry?
The way I came into the business is more of an evolution than a purposed thought process.
Okay, it just evolved.
It evolved over time, but it was great. It was a great travel, let's say that.
Okay.
So I started this business when I was at the age of 18 years old, right out of high school with the Frito-Lay Corporation in Los Angeles, and worked for them for about 8 years. Started in the sanitation department at the bottom of the rung and worked my way up through various departments. In 1985, I noticed that there were a gentleman making substantial more revenue than I was in the position I was in, and I was told that I have to go back to school, so I went back to school and got my electrical engineering degree in 1985. And after graduating from school in 1985, I got into the management field, and I started managing the electrical engineering department. And for 17 years, I was a manager as an electrical engineer or chief engineer. Then in 2002, I wanted to change course, and I went back to school again and achieved my bachelor's degree in business administration. And for the last 8 years, I've been operations manager for Biscomerica Corporation, looking at the more administrative issues, EPA, FDA, the logistics, procurement, and things of that nature. And that's what I've been doing for the last 8 years.
Right.
So my process has been a little bit of an evolution, but I like it because it was from the bottom up, and it gives me perspective on what the workers are doing on the floor level because I understand what they're doing. It gives me perspective what the engineers are doing because I understand that, and on this level I'm looking at the whole picture.
Right. I've had the pleasure of going down and touring at the plant, and so it is fascinating. But like you've shared with me, you've had that background, and to the point that you've even helped with the expansions and the retrofitting of the equipment down
Absolutely.
there. So, well, before we go a little further, we're going to take a moment for a pause here and, do the wonderful powder break that I always need. You're looking great, so you don't need one. But we'll be right back with our audience in a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Dave Shepard of the Rialto Police Department. Keeping our community safe from gun violence is a priority for the men and women of the Rialto Police Department. Today I'd like to talk to you about how you can help us keep our communities safe. On Saturday, June 1st, 2013, the Rialto Police Department, in partnership with the Colton Police Department and the Fontana Police Department, will be conducting a gun buyback program. Citizens will have the opportunity to surrender firearms in exchange for gift cards that will be provided by Stater Brothers Markets. Citizens can receive $50 for inoperable firearms, $100 gift certificates for handguns, rifles, and shotguns, and $200 gift certificates for assault weapons. I would like to emphasize that surrendering your firearm is completely anonymous and there will be no questions asked. The goal of the Rialto Police Department and our partners is to make our community safe from gun violence. Once a firearm is surrendered, it becomes the property of law enforcement and cannot be returned. The location for the buyback program will be the Stater Brothers Market, located at 571 East Foothill in the city of Rialto. If you would like more information, you can contact Lieutenant Dean Harden of the Rialto Police Department at area code 909-820-2634. On Saturday, June 1st, Join the Rialto Police Department as we partner with you to help our communities stay safe.
Well, welcome back. I want to again let you know that I'm here with Mr. Stacy Augustine, who is the Chief Operating Officer for Biscomerica here in Rialto. And Stacy, before we took our break, we were talking about your background and how you evolved and the fact that you really enjoy that you know the operation from the floor up. And I must admit, by the way, before we forget, what is roughly the size of your facility? Because I know you've had some expansion and there's some more plans for even additional expansion.
Our facility currently is 225,000 square foot. And we do have in its infancy, it's on the table being discussed about an expansion of another 100,000 square feet. And so that's our plans for our future growth, but it's in its early infancy.
Good, good. Well, and you know, and I know that you are always looking at all the opportunities and ways to be more efficient. We've talked about solar opportunities. We've talked about how we can conserve the water, and I really appreciate that because one of the things about Rialto is, you know, we want to be recognized as an industrial green community. It's good business sense, it's smart sense.
Absolutely.
But now, what has been some of the decisions that your company has had to make, the smartest decision you feel that the business has made?
Well, there's a lot of things that take place in an industrial manufacturing facility. I mean, numerous. But this may sound trivial, but one of the best decisions that we've made as a company was to go from a manual pallet jack system to a motorized pallet jack system. They say pallet jack. What's a pallet jack? Well, a pallet jack is an apparatus that the employees would use to move a pallet from one point to another. And we used to do this manually. Pallet jack costs are average about $600 to $700. And of course, the owners of the company enjoy paying only $600 or $700 per pallet jack, opposed to $3,500 for a motorized pallet jack. But in 2005, our mod rate was in the neighborhood of 130. This is high for a workman's compensation mod rate. Very high. Also, our premium for workman's comp was $780,000 to $790,000 a year. And this was 2005, and it was due to excessive back strains and shoulder strains. So what we did is I ran a pilot program, and I purchased 6 of these motorized pallet jacks and realized that our injuries start to decrease. So if we fast forward to here to 2013, we now have 16 motorized pallet jacks, which we've partnered with the Toyota and the Raymond Handling Solutions companies to help us with this. And now our premium for workman's compensation is hovering around the $430,000 range. It was almost a 50% reduction in cost. And this is what so I think that was a very smart decision to, it made the ergonomics for the employees workload much easier, and it was a good call. It was probably the best financial move, even on top of energy savings with retrofitting our lighting, even with some of those cogeneration with the gas company. The pallet jacks outpaced, and the return on investment was huge.
You know, and I could even imagine that the employees themselves probably appreciated having the parts of new technology introduced into their work environment. You know, there's just always some excitement about something new that, you know, you can be engaged in that cause your job to be not only easier but smarter. So
absolutely. I think for me, and like I said, in 1979, 1980, starting in the sanitation department, I have a great concern for every issue for every employee in our facility, from the bottom up. You can be sweeping a floor. You're just as important to me as if you were running a machine or running the accounting department. Everyone's has an input. And we have a state-of-the-art facility. If you were to visit our facility, it's first class. We don't have anything in there that is tape or binded. It's first class all the way. And it's very important for employees to feel that their input is heard. So if you make a recommendation for that facility, whoever you are, your recommendation will be answered within 24 hours.
Oh, great. That's great. You know, and I can attest to it. It's an awfully clean facility, but of course, being in the food
That's part of the program.
manufacturing, you have to have a clean facility.
Well,
that's
I've
for
been
sure.
in some that is not as clean.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I don't think I want to go there. I know that yours is definitely clean, and I love the systems that you have in place. You know, and in Rialto, we pride ourselves on trying to be as best business friendly as possible. You know, always recognizing, just like you, looking for areas where we can improve on that. What has been some of the biggest advantages that you felt you've had in doing business here in Rialto?
Well, our advantages here in the city of Rialto is primarily logistics and a
Okay.
very friendly local governing body. The city of
you very
Rialto has
much.
been very supportive to our endeavors, and likewise we try to do as well and return that kindness. But logistics is what has us here.
Good.
We have a interstate freeway to the east of us, the 215. We have an interstate freeway to the west of us, the 15 freeway. We
Right.
have an interstate freeway to the south of us, which is the 60 freeway. And the 10 international freeway, or interstate freeway, is to the north of us. So to get raw materials into our facility and then to get finished goods out, the logistics of Rialto is absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Well, I'm glad, yeah, I'm glad to know that. I mean, it's something that we definitely have to balance ourselves with in terms of the community's needs, but the transportation system is one that's definitely a benefit and value to our community and our location. But on that same note, while we know that we've been business friendly, I know that there's also some business challenges, not so much here in Rialto per se, but there's still always some business
Absolutely.
challenges to your operation. Could you share some of those or
Well-
point out some of the things that are frustrations for you at times?
Challenges here are very, very, they're big, and they're increasingly getting bigger. And our challenges, the way we see it, starts at the state level. The state then turns and mandates those challenges to cities, then cities then therefore pass it down to the business. So, for example, it's just becoming increasingly more difficult to do business in the state of California as an industrial manufacturer for the different types of regulations that are in place. If it's not the CPUC or the AQMD or the SPCC or the SCPP. I mean, all these different, we got about 20, 30 different regulations that all comes with penalties and fines. So what the state of California is offering manufacturers is more regulation, more penalty, more taxes, and fines, and also unionization. When other states that we're competing with to be lower priced to supply this nation are dealing with either states with lower taxes, no taxes whatsoever, or a right to state, right to work state. We have 7 states in our nation that has no tax, state tax, income tax at all. And then we have 24 right to work states. And see, and we have to compete with those states that may have a lower wage to produce a lower yield or a higher margin product. When we're at the top of that food chain, margin is very small. And between regulation and all the other things that the state is mandating, is it becoming increasingly more difficult. And to give you a good idea of what we're up against, we had the Governor Rick Perry here just last week. 2 weeks prior to that, he lobbied on 1070, asking businesses in the state of California to move out of California and come to Texas. Then he physically came down here and made the same claim. He's offering a right to work state. He's offering lower state taxes or no state taxes and tax incentives if you would move. And that's what we're up against. So we're trying to figure out what our legislators are doing in the state of California up there. Are they trying to make California a tech-only state, like the Silicon Valley is going to run this country? Or is it going to go on the backbone of where this state was mandated on, which is manufacturing? And that's where we lie at.
Well, you know what, Stacy? I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm certainly hoping that, part of what I've shared with you, and as well as putting together this show to highlight and promote our businesses, give them an opportunity, a platform. I'm also establishing a mayor's task force on business council, and I certainly would hope that I can call on you when I have our legislators come to hear what the concerns are. I mean, I think what you're saying, you're only echoing what all of them are hearing, and you know, I would like to work with them to figure out how do we get back to addressing some of the concerns that you've just expressed so that we can keep our businesses
Absolutely.
here in California and definitely here in Rialto.
Absolutely.
I know we're going to be coming to close a little bit here, but I would just like to ask you before we close, you know, what do you think would be the biggest business opportunity right now? And while you're at it, can you also tell me what do you think young people should do in terms of where should they look to pursue their professions, their career? Where's the growth? What should be the career opportunities?
Well, the thing is, the ability, we're very diversified here in Rialto. So you have a very good workforce. 80% of the employees that work at Biscomerica Corporation are residents here of the city of Rialto,
Wow.
which is good.
That's
And this is what
fantastic.
manufacturing does for a city. It supports those employees that live in that particular city that's going to shop at the stores and the retail outlets in that community, buy the gasoline in that community, pay their mortgage in that community, and pay their taxes in that community. So it all goes hand in hand. And some of the, it was the challenges for young people, or what was the question again? I'm sorry.
I just said, I'm sorry. I said, you know, that there's been business opportunities, and I just asked you what has been some of the, what do you see as some of the biggest challenges for young? And I know you and I have talked about some that you're dealing with personally right now. You're helping a young man, and you're helping to try and get him in the right path. So I just know, what do you think are some of the challenges?
The challenges for our youth is, first, I believe they have to find something that they're passionate about. And then once they find out what that thing is that they're passionate about, then they have to consider is it going to be income worthy? Because being passionate about something that's not going to pay bills, that's not going to work either.
No.
So they have to look at that in two ways. I would love to do this. Now, can I actually be employed doing it? And then from there, they would have to move forward. And it all stems from education. So with our youth today, I believe that they need to be educated, and find that thing that's passionable for them. I like industrial manufacturing. People tend to look at industrial manufacturing, oh, they just make cookies over there, they just make candy over there. No, but there's procurement involved in manufacturing. There's trafficking of merchandise. There's marketing. There's sales. There's accounting. There's record keeping. There's inventory control, there's management, supervision, quality control, biology, food science. I mean, there's an array of opportunities that can be had in a career in a manufacturing facility. And of course, I'm biased because I've been doing it for the last 30 years. And I'm trying to recruit all the new talent as well to manufacturing.
Well, and then I think you said trafficking, but better known now as logistics.
Yes.
You know, dealing with the logistics and then the whole computer technology.
IT, we have
driven in that industry.
Information systems technology. We have a staff there for that. We have engineering there. We have welders, we have electricians, we have software engineer in the facility. I mean, it takes a lot to make that bag of cookies, or that bag of candy.
Wonderful one bag of cookies.
Or that bottle of soda, or whatever it may be.
Well, I don't know if others have noticed, but now when I buy cookies or some of the snacked items, I'm always looking at the back of it to say, you know, and I would encourage everyone to look at the back and see where things are coming from, because you'd be surprised, pleasantly surprised to find that things are coming right here from Rialto.
Absolutely.
You know, again, I want to thank you, Stacy, for coming. This has been a wonderful conversation with you. I want you to know, and I think you know, that I really do support the business community, and I know that they're a heartbeat for our community. Again, we've had the pleasure of sitting and listening to and talking with Stacy Augustine, and he is the Chief Operating Officer for Biscomerica, right here in Rialto. I want to thank you for taking your time and giving us the attention to look at the Mayor's Business Show on Economic Heartbeat for Rialto. Good night.